Okay, so I've been meaning to make these videos for a while now. I see people talking in chat, and sometimes people don't know mechanics of the game that I think are important, and so I just want to give some basics and then intermediates and then more advanced stuff. Kind of do like maybe a 3 or 4 part series for offense and defense, um, to just see if we can help some people out because more comp is always good. And maybe with my help, you can be as good as me and choke in the Super Bowl every year. So, this video is going to be about the different zone coverages in the game, and I thought the best way to organize them would to be by color. So I'm going to be going over yellow, then purple, then light blue, then dark blue, in that order. So this will be the yellow part first. So the 3 types of yellow zones are mid-reads, vert hooks, and hook curls. And they all play a little different and have different pros and cons, but it's really important to know exactly how your zones are going to play, what routes they're going to play, what they're going to prioritize. Because if you know how your zones are going to play, then you can adjust for the offense. If you know a certain route's coming, you'll know which of these, oh, do I need a hook curl? Do I need a mid-read? Do I need a vert hook? It'll just let you adapt better to what the offense is throwing at you. And ultimately, if you know what route is coming, you should be able to stop it. You should be able to adjust for it. And you shouldn't have to guess, oh, man, I sure hope this mid-read plays that, when instead of being, oh, I know a mid-read's going to play it, or I know a hook curl's going to play it. So the first yellow we're going to talk about is the mid-read zone. It's the yellow that your middle linebacker is in cover 2 default. And you can see that it's way back here. Its player it's back here compared to these vert hooks, which are much shorter. And that's because its assignment is that it gets depth right away and then plays downhill. So when the ball is snapped, he's going to start retreating, and he's going to prioritize routes that are going deep in his zone in here and just kind of ignore stuff that comes underneath here. Now the problem with this is it's just a worse one of these. So when he's in a mid-read, sometimes he'll randomly like go over here or randomly just decide he's going to play this zone. But if you want someone to cover your middle in a cover 2, then it's just way better to put him in a deep blue, because he's never going to, if he's in this, he's never going to randomly just decide, oh, I'm going to go up and cover this. So I think mid-read's probably the worst out of these, just because a deep blue is just always better than it. So if there's plays, I think the only one where mid-reads are, for the most part, is in cover 2, and most people put their deep blue, or put their middle linebacker in a deep blue anyways. So pretty much you won't be using mid-reads at all, or very much at all. And I'm still going to go over like an example just to show how they play, but you want to avoid using them just because they're just a worse deep blue. So just for a quick example of why the mid-read's just a crappy deep blue, I'm going to use this setup every play that we're testing because it has 4 different timing routes that come into the zone. So you can see what the route's logic is for each of the different zones that we're going to show. So he's in a mid-read here, and let's just see how he plays. Again, you're hoping that he's going to play deep and pick up deep routes so that you don't get toasted over the top in a cover 2, and let's see what he does. So, not that. So, randomly, this is where I'm talking about the like strange logic of this zone. Randomly, he just decides, hey, I see this streak coming into my zone, but I'm gonna go guard this. He sees this in route and decides that that's a bigger priority than this, and you just give up a touchdown because of it. So now let's see how a deep blue plays, and just to show that a deep blue is just the better choice in pretty much every situation, because this is always going to play the deep route. So let's see this one. So there, I mean, he turns in he turns and runs, and I mean, he doesn't make a play. You click on and get a pick there, but that's just put a mid read into deep blue, like every single time. It's just better. It's just better no matter what. Okay, so the next one is a vert hook, and you see him again in cover 2. It's the non-mid read. So this is a vert hook, and this is a vert hook. And we need to introduce an idea which is going to be a theme throughout this video, which is called match coverage. So what match coverage does is, if certain route combinations, personnel, if certain logic is met, the zones are going to turn into man. So vert hooks are pretty simple. If a route comes into their zone, if a vertical route comes into their zone, and there's no other immediate threat, it's just going to turn into man coverage on the deep route. So watch how Sean Lee in this vert hook right here plays this streak that's going to be coming from the tight end. So here's the setup, and let's see how Sean Lee plays. So hike, he turns, and he's just going to turn and run with that, and he just completely leaves his zone and it turns into man coverage, and he dabs on me, so that's cool. This is match coverage. So he says, okay, do I see a vertical route? Yes. Is there an immediate zone? Now, keep in mind, I have a slant coming from Ertz, but because it's not immediately in his zone, he bails and plays man coverage. And so this is a prime example of, you need to know how your zones are going to play. Because if you have a yellow here, you expect it to stay here. And so then all of a sudden, you're getting beat by slant route, and you're like, wait, where the heck is my linebacker? I thought I had him in a zone there. But because he decides to play match coverage, then that's just wide open. So remember that a vertical hook plays vertical routes, and it turns into match coverage if there's no other routes in its zone. So think of like a grid, right? It has this box right here. So when a vertical route enters its box, it says, okay, is there any other route in it? Because if not, it's going to turn into man coverage. But here's an example of when there is another route in it, and he's not going to turn into match coverage because he says, okay, is there a vertical route? Yes. Is there another route in it? Yes. Okay, I'm going to play the other route. I'm not going to turn into man coverage. So here's him, and you'll see he doesn't guard Goddard. He peels down to Ertz. So I mean, he gets bumped, but he doesn't turn into man coverage. That's the point. Is that he doesn't turn into man coverage because someone else is in his grid. So match coverage is always going to have that idea. There's going to be like a trigger. So is there a vertical route? And then there's going to be a condition. Is there another route in my grid? And if there is, okay, it's not going to turn into man coverage if there's someone else in his grid. And so vertical hooks are nice if you're trying to take away vertical routes. So, but if you need that player underneath, you need to know that he's going to leave. And so maybe your user has to watch underneath, or you have to make other adjustments to take away the route because it's going to turn into match coverage. So a hook curl, this is the one you want 90% of the time. It's going to play how you want a zone to play. If there's a route in its zone, it's going to cover it, but it's not going to leave this little area right here and randomly just turn into man coverage and end up 30 yards down the field. And so let's watch how it plays against this same exact setup. First, it's going to take the streak, then it's going to play the slant, then it's going to play the in route. So here, boom, it's on the streak. It's going to bail, go down to the slant, and then it's going to stay there, still in its zone, guard that until the in route leaves, and he's going to pass it off to the outside linebacker. So let's just take a look at the replay to see how he does his progression. So here, he's on the streak. Now he's going to leave and go down to this. Now he's going to pass that off to this linebacker, and he's going to pick up this in route as soon as it crosses into his zone. Now, obviously, no one guard or no one zone is going to guard everything. That's the whole reason the offense moves the ball, right? You got clear outs with routes coming underneath. Like, this slant's going to be open, but maybe he comes down and makes a play on it and hits the tight end here, causes an incompletion. And then you're going to have this route coming open. But if you're expecting one zone to cover that the entire time, I mean, that's just not how it's going to work. But this is where, because you know how these zones are going to play, you can use your user to take those away. So you know, okay, first I'm going to be on this slant because it's going to be open, and then I need to bail, get depth, because this back route is going to come open. And so that's how a hook zone plays. Alright, so to summarize, mid-read, bad. Put it in a deep blue, this is just always better. Vert hook, good in some situations, but you have to remember it's going to turn into match coverage, and it's match coverage, it's going to turn into man. And then you're not going to have a yellow zone here anymore, you're going to have him chasing this route down the field even when he doesn't need to. And then you have hook curls, which are going to play routes aggressively when they're in the zone, but they're not going to overchase, they're going to stay home. Hook curls are the way to go 98% of the time. Last thing we're going to go over is how to know what plays have which zones. So from the play art, there's like slight differences in color. Like you can see the difference here between this one and this one, but that difference is almost not noticeable. Same thing. I'm comparing these. This one's a hook curl. This one's a vert hook. This one's a mid read. So the way you're gonna just have to do it is you just gotta learn what plays have which zones. So you gotta know, okay, Tampa 2, I got mid read, I got vert hooks. Cover 4, I got hook curls. But then some of these, like cover 3 buck, I don't know which ones that has, so let's see. Oh, okay, it has hook curls. So the plays that you run, you'll just learn which zones they have so that you know how your coverage is going to play. And that is going to do it for the yellows. I recorded all the zones, but when I was editing the video, it was going to be like 30 minutes or something. So I thought it might be better to just split it up into 2 videos. So this is yellows, and then the other one will be light blues, dark blues, and purples. But I hope this video is helpful. I know it's not super exciting and might not seem super useful, but this is the backbone for all the adjustments that we're going to learn how to make later in the series. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.